Nearly $10 million will be distributed to special ed schools across Brooklyn. It's to build sensory rooms for students.
It's a plan that hits close to home for Borough President Antonio Reynoso, who is now joining us this morning to tell us more about this big investment. Borough President, good to see you. It's been a minute. Welcome back.
Happy to be back. Always happy to be back with you guys. You guys look great, by the way. I love the summer vibes.
Thank you very much.
We're here for Easter. We're here for the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So before we discuss the plan to build sensory rooms for students, I do want to talk to you just about a bit of a tragic story from the borough, right? That shooting that claimed the life of 7-month-old Kaori Patterson Moore. A memorial just held yesterday, which is why I want to ask you about this, because you met with the family. Are you planning, I guess, to make the streets safer in the wake of this heartbreaking incident? What can be done so this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, look, we've had record high or record low crime in Brooklyn. It's the safest year we ever had was last year. This part of the area, that young man that shot the baby was in a basketball program. We had just gotten him opportunity to have a job being a security guard through a anti-gun violence effort. And this area in the borough, but specifically in Williamsburg, has all the resources that you could possibly need to stop gun violence. In this area, there's been a significant drop in shootings and murders. So we've made progress. This is truly an out there moment that no one expected, and it's claimed the life of a 7-month-old. And we're all sad here in Brooklyn, but I want to assure Brooklyn and assure the folks in this district that we've done everything we can. The schools have after-school programming. We have community centers across the street. We have a business district. We have a plaza. All the resources that could be available were. So I just want to be clear, this is an unusual thing. And the reason it's so spiked up, it's not only because it's a 7-month-old, but because it's rare now in this part of the district to see these type of things happen.
And you grew up in this part of Williamsburg, not far from where the shooting took place. Is it that more police are the answer? And we know that historically here in New York City, even with the crime rates as low as they are, summertime, this is when we begin to see an uptick in these unfortunate types of violent incidents. What's the answer?
Yeah, it's activity. It's over-resource. The police in the 90th do an amazing job, and the PSA 3 here do an amazing job. But I think it's resources for young people, which I want to say again, we gave job training and workforce development to this child. We gave him a job. He was in a basketball program that we fund here from New York City. So in every step of the way, we caught this person. We knew that they were liable to be a problem and wanted to solve for it early. But what I think is more resources. We need the cops do a great job here. This is not about flooding the streets with cops. It's to continue the resources that we see now so we can have continue to see safety.
Okay, thank you for addressing that. I know it's important to so many. Let's talk about what you're doing today. Headed to Brownsville later this morning, right? You're making a big announcement about a big investment for special ed schools across Brooklyn. Can you tell us more about it right now?
Yeah, so my story, I have a son with autism. He's a 5-year-old, and I went searching for schools, and some schools had some resources and others did not. And one of the big resources that really help children with autism and children that are neurodivergent is sensory rooms. An ability to move around, to experience sight, sound, touch, all things that are deeply important. Well, now in Brooklyn, it doesn't matter what District 75 school you walk into, it will have a sensory room. Every single school in Brooklyn is getting a grant to build out a sensory room to assist children that are on the spectrum, neurodivergent children, like my son, Andres. So I'm so happy to be able to see something that's personally affected me and has made it so that we have an amazing kid. You see my background. Every time he wants to throw something up, we have to throw it up on the wall. He's into Harry Potter. My older son.
You want them to be engaged with all of this. Where's the money come from? And do we have data on how this is impacting learning?
So, yeah, the data is very clear that sensory rooms are deeply important. A lot of these young children, especially in the winter, are not allowed to do much physical activity. They are physically challenged on occasion and need as much movement as possible. But the thing is, with neurodivergent children, they're learning about sensory progress that they make while they're being educated. So sight, sound, and touch are deeply important, especially with kids that tend to not be able to communicate very well. So sensory rooms have been a huge victory and win for the neurodivergent movement. So yes, this data is deeply important. It's 9.25 million. we can't get data on the progress that the kids in Brooklyn would make. But what I wanted is that it doesn't matter what neighborhood you come from in Brooklyn. A parent doesn't need to move around from school to school or drive an hour or two to try to find a site that has these type of resources. Your local District 75 school will have the same build out that the best schools in New York City have when it comes to sensory and these type of resources.
Very important. We're down to the last minute here with you, but I want to talk about what's going on Thursday, your big State of the Borough address. Give us a little nugget of something you might unveil on Thursday. I know you like to all save it for the big announcement on Thursday, but give me something now about how this will make lives for people living in Brooklyn better.
Yeah, so a couple of things. We're going to celebrate the last 4 years, the work that we've already done, and make sure people know how we've made the borough better and how we've helped people. But one thing that we're going to be highlighting is culture in this one. And we're bringing it back a little bit to the Marty Markowitz days, one of the greatest borough presidents in the history of Brooklyn. And we're going to be celebrating. And we actually have a young teenager that did a competition for designing the next Brooklyn pin that everybody would be wearing.
Oh.
So if you come, there's a surprise for anyone that shows up to the State of the Borough. They might be getting a gift.
You get a pin. You get a pin.
Pins for everyone.
All right. Borough President Reynoso, thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great time on Thursday.
That's your big announcement on Thursday? A new pin?
I got bigger ones, but I could only give you something. I could only give you something. Dan, you're always asking for a lot. I got to pace you a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. We appreciate you.
All right.
Okay. Thanks.
Good to see you.